Hi, I'm Pat Nagle and I'm going to be talking about colour therapy. Colour therapy is not a new thing, it's quite an ancient one, and people from antiquity, Romans, etc., used colour very specifically. They had their own gods, like the Roman god of Mars, who was red, there was Venus, who was blue, and if you felt poorly, you went to a particular temple to be bathed in coloured lights, to take coloured substances, and to be made well. Now, we've discovered in the scientific world now that colour does have a very profound effect upon you. It's used in conventional medication, light therapy, photodynamic, laser lights, etc. But today we're just going to have a little look at some of the qualities of colour and what it can actually do for you. Colour comes from the sun. Within 8 minutes, the light from the sun actually reaches the earth, and that is perceived as white light. We see colour because certain things reflect the wavelength and frequency back. So if we see a red rose, that's because red can't pass through it. All the other colours are absorbed and red is reflected, and therefore we see a red rose. So this is really good for us. But it actually passes through your body. All light passes through your body. If you imagine your body as a beanbag, as light passes through, it has an effect upon those little beans and either jibbles them about or moves them very, very slowly. Now, when we talk about colour therapy and its usage, it's the wavelength and frequency of the colour or the wavelength passing through your body that has an effect. So if you look at red, red has a large wavelength and a small frequency. So as it passes through the body, the large wave moves the molecules of your body around, but it takes a while to pass through. We're talking milliseconds, but in wavelength frequency that's quite slow, and therefore it heats the body up by jibbling these beans around, if you like, your molecules. And so it warms your body up. It causes you to have anxiety, feelings of passion, etc. Red is a very powerful colour and a very good colour to use. Now, looking at blue has a very small wavelength and a quick frequency, so it passes through the body with very little effect upon the molecules. And of course you have all the colours in between. Lots of colours that we don't see, infrared, ultraviolet, microwaves, all those also have an effect upon the body. Ultraviolet, which we've all heard about. But what we're looking at today is how colour actually affects you in your everyday life. Now, when you see a colour, the memory of what that colour does to you as it passes through the body is remembered by the mind and therefore has the same effect upon you. So if you are in a red room, it will actually have the same effect as though red frequency light was passing through you. So it becomes agitating, very warming. It can cause you to perhaps be more short-tempered than you should be. And so this is actually used to very good effect by some companies. If you go to Japan, they actually paint the toilets in their very large factories in bright red. It stops people hanging around because it's very uncomfortable to do so. But of course, blue room would have the opposite effect. It can be very cold, a bit cool, make you dispassionate, but also very, very calming, so that's quite nice. Yellow and orange actually help you concentrate, so that's a lovely colour to have in a room where you want to learn or study. Lovely colour to sit under, so again, if you're having difficulties settling to studying, don't go in a blue room, it's too calm, too relaxing, and might take your attention off. A red room, although it will energise you and pick you up, it may stop you from actually taking things in because you'll be trying too hard, too fast. So you go for yellow or orange. A lot of prison cells now are painted in peach because, again, this keeps people uplifted, but at the same time it's not too red so that you get a little bit agitated, a bit annoyed. This is what they don't want. Restaurants use red to increase your appetite, but if you're somebody who wants to decrease an appetite, then you're looking at green utensils. Green and gold decrease the appetite, so they can make a large meal, or a very small meal, sorry, look quite enough because you have this decreasing. If you've ever drunk tea out of a green cup, you'll know it doesn't taste anywhere near as good as out of a red cup. And this is because your mind remembers what it does. If you're travelling, yellow is a colour to avoid because it causes nausea when you're travelling with motion. But green is the colour to use if you do feel sick. So a little green hanky in your hand or even in your pocket. You don't actually have to see it. Knowing it's there is enough to trigger the effects of green. So us ladies, of course, know those sort of things because we put coloured underwear on that nobody else is going to see, but we feel differently. Like if we had a red and black bra on as opposed to a white and silver number. We feel differently with them underneath. We feel more powerful, more strong, but nobody else is going to see it. So you don't have to actually see the colour to have an effect. So it's really handy knowing what these things are because they help. If you've got hyperactive children, looking at peach and orange and blue shades and turquoise reduces their hyperactivity and helps to soothe them. If you've got children that need to be picked up, etc., you're looking more onto the red shades and onto the crimson and the peaches, again, to just pick you up. Knowing how colours affect you changes how you put colours into your own home, into bedrooms, etc. Crimson and black, absolutely stunning for bachelor pads, etc. Lots of action going on, but not a lot of relaxation and sleep. Not good colours to have in the bedroom. So in the bedroom you're looking at cool, calming colours, your beiges, your creams, shades of blue, but not the icy blue because again that can be a little bit cold, a little bit impersonal. Nice to add a little bit of excitement to your room with crimson or hot pink, etc. But make sure they are only in the accessories, not in the room itself, because it's just too much. If you're running youth clubs, etc., be very careful what you put on the walls. Yes, red looks exciting and some of the other colours, but again, you've got to remember what they're going to be doing there. You don't want people to be hyperactive or over-passionate about what they're doing. But these things can be very helpful to you if you're going for job interviews, etc. A little bit of red on will give you confidence. But depending on the type of job you're going for, if you're going for a job working for a company that's environmentally friendly, etc., you're looking at oranges and greens because, again, these are the colours that reflect nature. If you're going for a caring job or a communication job, like a social worker or a teacher or somebody, or a counsellor, then you're looking on the turquoise, the blues, the violets, the lilacs. And these colours have been scientifically proven to show how they affect other people as well as yourself. So be aware of what you're putting on. If you're having a down day, don't open your wardrobe, get out your blacks, your whites, your beiges, because you'll just feel even worse. Deliberately pick something that's going to uplift you, even if it's only a small accessory like a brightly coloured tie or a little bit of a neckerchief or a scarf or a cardigan that you can take off when you get there. Things like that really help. Colour therapy now is used a lot in psychology. There's psychological colour tests where they see how people are going on. They use coloured chairs to see which one you sit in, and again that is an immediate reflection of your mood. So if you ever go into anything like that, have a look around and pick the chair that you feel more powerful in and that you can be in control. It's no coincidence that the boss sits in a great big chair and you sit in a little one at the front. That is deliberate, and as is choice of colour. And so have a look at your boss's colours because it will also indicate to you whether he or she feels the need to be in control all the time, or can they sometimes dress down their colour to be much more approachable. If you went into a room as a stranger and you were asked to ask questions of people, and I'd deliberately set up 50% of the people in shades of reds and peaches and 50% of the people in turquoise, greens and blues, as a non-confident person, you would probably go and ask the questions of the people in the blues and the greens and avoid the blacks and the reds because they would seem too powerful and too confident for you to approach unless you were a very confident person yourself. So again, have a look out for that. If you're the first in line at your company, make sure you're very approachable by looking at your colours. And hopefully when you've read the article and seen some of the colour qualities, it will make you think differently about how you view colour in your life. And just a reminder, this time of the year, starting November, December, January, February, is the period of time for SAD or seasonal affective disorder, when you really need to sort out your colours and make sure you get at least 30 minutes of white light sunshine. Walking outside, even on a cloudy day, is enough to give you enough melatonin to lift your spirits. That's your happy hormone, and it really does make a big difference. Don't sit in work and have your dinner. Go out and have that 30 minutes in the sunshine, and it will really help to relieve your SAD if you find that you suffer from seasonal affective disorder.